323 on the table, subject to call. Is there objection? Chair hears none, so ordered. Members, Representative Tinderholt moves to move his first bill all the way to the very end of the calendar. Is there objection? Chair hears none, so ordered. Chair recognizes Representative Schofield to explain House Bill 1330. We are on the last bill of the calendar. Members in the gallery, this is your warning. We are on the last bill of the calendar. Members, there are two great traditions of the Texas House. The first one is to properly greet new members of the House on their first bill. And the second is to give great respect to law enforcement, especially those who have passed away in the line of duty. Mr. Tinderholt's bill is a very serious bill that deals with a peace officer who has lost his life in defense of our communities. So respectfully, I propose to the House that you join Mr. Cassell and members at the back mic to properly greet Representative Tinderholt. And then when that is completed, you then join Mr. Tinderholt at the front mic to pay proper respect to our fallen officer. We now recognize Representative Tinderholt for a proper greeting and to explain House Bill 1237.
Memorial Highway, let the hazing begin.
Is there objection to consideration? Okay. Representative Cassell, for what purpose?
May I give Representative Tinderholt an opportunity to at least introduce the esteemed Ann Crabb first?
I will. My friend's wife is up in the gallery. Ann Crabb, please stand. That's her in the blue. Her husband gave his life in defense and protection of Austin. Her husband gave his life while protecting the people of this great city, Austin.
Mr. Tinderholt, incredible bill. I cannot be responsible for my colleagues from this point forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Murphy, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry, please, sir.
Has Huberty repeating his freshman term?
Yes.
He is today.
I'd like to ask some questions. Mr. Tinderholt,
Does the gentleman yield?
You are
for a question.
Gentleman yields for questions.
You're a very good member of our corrections committee, are you not?
I hope so.
You are. You treat people respectfully. You've done a great job serving as a member of that committee. Is that because you have prior experience in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Mr. Tinderholt?
Well,
is there an offense in your background we're not aware of?
not yet.
Not yet. I think you've done very well as a member of our committee. I think you've also done well, I've noted, in your choice of a wife. Bethany is a lovely lady. Madam Speaker, I'd like to be granted a little discretion in talking to the freshman. May I please do that? A little off the bill, perhaps? Madam Speaker?
Yes, sir, you can do anything you'd like, just no tears and no fighting on the floor, please.
No tears, no fighting. Okay, I appreciate the admonition.
Yes, I chose well this time.
Tony, your wife, is it true that she's a former Dallas Cowboy cheerleader?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, well,
I'm
having
a good
met
salesman.
her, that's not surprising. It's also my understanding that we were visiting, in fact, at Christmas time when we met, and you were talking about this very bill. And I know you've worked hard with Representative Isaacs on doing this. I'm very proud of you for doing that and seeing it through right to the bitter end. But at that time, didn't you tell me that she still worked out and did routines with other cheerleaders even today?
She still does quite a bit with the cheerleaders.
Has she ever involved you in that, Tony? Or do you have any expertise as a cheerleader?
I have no skills, but I go watch.
Would it be out of order for us to ask for a demonstration, Tony, of your favorite cowboy routine?
I kind of want to.
Welcome to the House, Tony.
Thank you.
That is out of order.
Madam Speaker,
Mr. Sheets, for what purpose?
will the gentleman yield?
Will the gentleman yield?
I will.
The gentleman yield.
Mr. Tinderholt, my chairman's looking at me, telling me I have to get to committee, so I'll be very quick. I just want to say welcome to the Texas House as a fellow military veteran and also as a friend of your wives from way back. Just welcome both of you to the Texas House, and thank you for all that you're doing for Arlington and Mansfield.
Hey, thank you. And what kind of friend? I'm kidding. Thank you.
We worked at the same place. Come on.
Mr. Stickland, for what
Speaker,
purpose?
Madam Speaker, does the gentleman yield for a question?
Do you yield?
It depends. Is he going to talk for 10 minutes?
I don't know yet. Representative Tinderholt,
Gentleman yield.
you know I've been
Yes.
waiting for this moment for a couple of years now, don't you?
Since our sit down at Starbucks.
At Starbucks, yeah. And when we sat down at Starbucks, we started to develop a friendship. Would you say that's correct?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question, Representative Tinderholt. Do you make it a common practice to poach staff members from your friends?
I try.
Who's your current chief of staff?
That would be Micah Kavanaugh.
Micah Kavanaugh. Do you know who Micah Kavanaugh worked for before you?
I think he left the person because he wasn't happy with him and came to my team.
He did. And is it not true that there was another gentleman in your office right now who previously worked for me?
That would be Jake.
And are you advised, Representative Tinderholt, that I actually made him an offer to return to my office?
I was not.
Would you think that it was out of the question for me to assume that my former staffer, Micah, who went to work for you, might have an idea of the financial offer that was made to the guy, and perhaps you upped it by just a little bit prior to the session, Representative Tinderholt?
That could be possible.
Did you tell me when we first met and started becoming friends that you were going to steal my staff members?
I did not.
Representative Tinderholt, we have things to talk about later today. Congratulations, welcome to the Texas House, and thank you for bringing this bill that's important to our community.
Thank you.
Mr. Isaacs,
Madam
for
Speaker, will
what
the
purpose?
gentleman yield?
Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
Representative
Gentleman
Voldemort, what's the problem that you have with Harry Potter? Voldemort. You
I don't have a
remember
problem with him.
you remember a conversation that we had, I believe it was late last year?
I do.
Do you want to relay some of that conversation to the body?
Was it the one about the bill or the one about how cool your picture is on the front lawn with a couch?
It was the one about the bill, and you remember you said to me that that you're a conservative member and that you're afraid that you're not going to get any legislation passed, and you had asked if I would file this bill because it affects constituents of mine that are very near and dear to my heart now, and I said no, they're closer to you and they're friends of yours, and that you should file this bill, and you said you don't think that you're going to get any legislation passed, and I said you can be as conservative or as liberal as you want, but just don't go around poking people in the eye and then asking for favors. And do you remember what your response was?
I do not. I really don't.
You don't? You said, oh, you mean like Jonathan Stickland?
That's possible. And I
Representative
didn't.
Tinderholt, I appreciate you calling me about that I think it was last December. I know it was after the election, and I'm glad that you're carrying this legislation to honor this great family that lives in Dripping Springs and the community that I serve. And I really appreciate the work that Representative Workman has done contacting officials in Travis County. And I appreciate the Travis County delegation getting letters of support, and the members of the Dripping Springs community and the Hays County Commissioners Court in writing letters of support so that we can get this done. And I applaud you on your efforts for paying tribute to a great gentleman that we tragically lost in Dripping Springs. Thank you very much for doing this. Congratulations on your first bill. It's an honor to serve with you.
Thank you for being a joint author.
Ms. Davis of Dallas, for what purpose?
Will the gentleman yield?
Does the gentleman yield?
I will.
The gentleman yields.
And this is a really serious thing, so I hope everybody's got all their laughs. I think you know that I owe you something, right? I think you remember you're the only person, a freshman, that had the nerve to do a point of order on one of my bills.
Oops. And it was overturned.
And they tell me that I have a reputation of being one who will get you back. Have you heard that?
I have.
And so you know this is serious for me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And even though you've got all the House of members up front and back mic supporting you, what do you think I should be doing right about now? Maybe raising a point of order? Or...
Either that or come and give me a big hug.
I want to tell you that in light of all of the discussions we have on the floor, and some of them are very heated, and your point of order, you were most gracious in saying, I hope you're not mad at me because I'm doing this. But I got to do it. And so I want to tell you, I really appreciate your style and courage, and but don't make that a habit. That's not a good thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wish you luck with this bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Coleman, for what purpose?
Ask a question.
Does the gentleman yield for a question?
I do.
Gentleman yield.
You know, you're on the County Affairs Committee, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 freshmen, maybe 6. And we all kind of had a little bit of a rough start, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we did. It was a little bit of a rough start. And plus, Mr. Stickland is on there, and he's still a freshman, so that actually we add one to that. But I have to tell you, and this is serious, you have been a very, very good committee member, as all of the freshmen on the committee have been. And I really appreciate everything that you've done and your colleagues that has made the committee to make committee work this session, and I just want everybody to know that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members? Mr. Tinderholt's time is about to expire. If you would please join us up front. The following bill, the clerk will read the bill.
HB 1237 by Tinderholt, relating to the designation of a portion of U.S. Highway 290 in Hayes and Travis counties as the Lieutenant Clay Crabb Memorial Highway.
Chair recognizes Representative Tinderholt.
I move passage. I want to talk more. You know what I'm going to. He was a great man, great friend. I missed out on him being a great father and a husband. Thank you, Anne, for your sacrifice. I move passage.
Members, is there any objection? Chair hears none. Bill is moved to a third reading. It looks like everybody's already standing. Bill passes.
And that's why I worked hard to get Tony Tinderholt elected. God bless him.